Welcome to the Sector Spin with Terry. In this video series, I share with you what I'm watching each week in various sector industry subgroups. Well, since recently we've been seeing the return of rising momentum and relative strength in the technology sector, I thought it would be appropriate to look for some new trading opportunities inside one of the subgroups of the XLK. This is the software industry subgroup. Here is the relative rotation graph for the software subgroup, which has 177 component stocks. Now I see a lot of positive direction here, but how can I narrow this list down? Well, I've run a scan on the stocks in that software subgroup looking for those with northeasterly headings, meaning that they are seeing both rising momentum and relative strength. Here's what that filter looks like. The scope of this subgroup is still quite large, as you can see. 113 stocks in the software subgroup still fit this criteria of a northeasterly heading. Now this filter still leaves too many selections to work with, so we need to consider doing some more filtering. Now what if we narrow this list down to those vectors that are currently showing us a weekly improving trend as indicated by the blue color of the tails? Now, this list is much more manageable. But the question is, are these stocks currently positioned for entries? Maybe, maybe not. But the heading on each of these vectors does indicate that these stocks should continue to see rising momentum and rising relative strength, which means if you have them in your portfolio now, they will likely continue to outperform the benchmark S&P. Let's take a look at some of these price charts here and scroll through those. Let me just kind of arrange this so I can adjust it. We'll start here with DocuSign. And let's see how many of these stocks that are in this much smaller list now. 11 stocks showing improving trend and northeasterly vector in the software subgroup of the technology sector. You can see how many of them have risen impressively over the past several weeks. And there's some period of basing or a recent pause in the last week or so. You can see some sideways to lower price action in there. Now here in this layout, the green line is the 20-day simple moving average. The blue line is the 50-day simple moving average, and the red line is the 200-day simple moving average. So when should we have gone long, closed out, or even considered going short? Well, there's a lot to those questions wrapped around your trading and investing time horizon, risk tolerance, etc. You probably got some ideas in your head already for the conditions that you like to see before you open a new entry. Now, if you can quantify those using technical indicators, you may be able to use a feature in Optuma to help give you a flag when stocks are meeting your criteria. I'm going to introduce you to a new feature in Optuma. Well, it's not new to Optuma, it's new to you, that combines some simple scripting language with some common indicators and a mapping ability to place markers on the price charts when your conditions are met. I'm going to use this built-in indicator in Optuma called SuperTrend. The SuperTrend indicator uses ATR values to identify the market trend, flipping from positive, which means long, or negative means short trends. Positive trends are marked in green and down trends are marked in red. And you can see here an application of the SuperTrend indicator onto a price chart of gold futures daily. And you can see where the price is channeling above the green indicator is an uptrend, and when the Indicator turns red, the price is usually in a downtrend. So let's see what we can do with this. For now, I've applied the SuperTrend indicator to this chart layout. Now I can see where the trend is up with this green, light green here. These are the trends are up, and I can also see where the trends are down. And more importantly, I can actually see where the trend change occurred. See my arrow marker here and my arrow marker there. So I might possibly consider using those trend flags as trading signals. Now, this is a simple demonstration of the power of the Optuma platform, and I'm not necessarily endorsing the SuperTrend as a buy-sell indicator on its own, but it does have merit. And the ability to customize and further refine these signals is just a few keystrokes away. Let me run through these. Let me go through these charts again now with the SuperTrend indicator, and I've done a screen. I've actually done a screen where I have taken this little list and I've gone through and identified where all of the SuperTrend indicator green is true, and applied that here. And I believe every stock in this list right now has a green SuperTrend indicator. Now you can see though that the indicator has turned, but it turned back like at the end of May. So had you been using this indicator, you would have caught the ability to ride this uptrend pretty dramatically there. So you can see where all of these are. Now some of these charts, they are starting to roll over. And you can see another little indicator I have here, which is the daily trend. The daily trend is actually negative on the Datadog here, but I don't actually have an exit signal just yet, right? So one little down bar should not derail an uptrend. But you can take that and customize these things. You may decide you want to add earlier entries or do something rather than wait until you roll completely over. Right? Look at this one here. This is Pharesia. If you'd have followed this trend indicator, you would have gone long October 16th, 2020 at around $33 a share. You'd have ridden it all the way up, and you wouldn't have exited until the bull trend was over and a clear signal change occurred, and you would have exited somewhere maybe in the $65 region if you'd wait till the end of the day close here, which would have been February 23rd. So that would have been a beautiful double right there. Now, one more thing before I go. Let me slide this timeline back to where the latest green up arrow occurred at the beginning of this rising trend, and we'll look at DocuSign here. Now I have these charts linked, so the relative rotation chart, the timeline of it is linked here with the price chart. So I can go back and I can identify what did the relative rotation chart look like back here when I got this new entry signal. So let's take a look here. And we're focused on DocuSign at the point here. So right as we got the entry, DocuSign, you can see, had formed a new northeasterly hook, and it was actually a couple of weeks into that northerly movement. The hook formed essentially here, and if you can look, you can see the vertical line has not indicated an entry point just simply because the hook formed. So it does give it a little bit of time to develop and mature into a rising momentum trend. And by the time we got the entry point, DocuSign had almost retraced back to the improving quadrant. A new northeasterly vector had formed following out of this hook. You can see here we had northerly movement, and then from here we have northeasterly movement. Well, this is why I like to identify the most recent new hook formations when I'm narrating my weekly sector rotation. I hope I've tantalized you guys a bit with these features in the Optuma platform. For more information to try out Optuma yourself, follow this link here, optuma.com/trading analysis. Please check us out at tradinganalysis.com for more great information, market analysis, a great member community where you can get more trade ideas and share yours with our active community. One more thing here. For details on the SuperTrend indicator, I'll give you here the URL. See the Optuma Help database, and that's where that article was in their knowledge base. Thank you guys for your time and attention, and have a great week.